Everybody, it's Mackie here. We're on step 4 of the 4-step investigative process. So if you just now join us, I hope you go back and watch the other parts and learn more about this. But I hope it's taking you through this journey. And if you ever want to hire us, maybe you understand how we go about our business. But yeah, so here's the steps. Step 1 is our goals. Step 2 is our assumptions. You see, I wrote them down up here. Step 3 is test, and step 4 is report facts. My microphone is in the way again. Report facts. Okay. This one I try to use this microphone to pick it up when I'm over there, but report facts. So we're at step 4, reporting facts. So we're going to list some goals, list some assumptions. Step 3, we're going to test. Step 4, we're going to report facts. So I'm kind of just going to walk you through this process and show you how this goes. Excuse me, how this goes. But yeah, step 1, we had our goals. So let's go on a common one here. And that is husband is cheating. Okay. And we're going to talk about, we got to write prove. Prove husband is cheating. That's a good goal. Okay. It may be just for your own personal know-how. You want to know if he's really cheating, or you may have some, you and your lawyer may have a plan to say, hey, how this cheating, you've been staying home with the children while he's been out partying it up with his new woman and spending all your money. It may have an impact on the splits, the asset splits. So we can see there. That's a good goal to have. Okay. So some assumptions we may have that follow this is that he has a girlfriend. Another assumption is that he spends a lot of money on it, excessive spending. And you probably do have a bank account showing that he has excessive spending, or he's going on and open his new account, already split those accounts up and you can't see what he's doing. Maybe that's what's going on. Underneath that, there may be another goal of alcoholism. That's a big deal when you're talking child custody. Excessive drinking. Okay. That's some assumptions we may have. This could go on forever, by the way, the assumptions. Every case has its own unique qualities to it. So don't think that these are the only assumptions. If you have an adultery case, I know some people may be screaming, hey, I've got this one. Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. We'll have a whole nother episode. I need to do a live one time so we can do this live and have people, we can interact with each other. So how are we going to test that? Number 1 is surveillance. All right, we're going to go out and we're going to start watching this guy, seeing what he's up to. You may have some assumptions that you may tell me, hey, he's gone, it's an assumption. This is what you know. He may be staying out certain times at night and you don't know where he is. He's turned his locations off on his phone. You have no idea where he is. So, and that's when we're going to start watching him. GPS tracker may be in play here. Depends on who owns the vehicle. That's the big thing about GPS trackers is ownership. Go back and watch our episode on GPS tracking. But surveillance is going to be a big part of this. So yeah, surveillance. We might have some witnesses that can attest to it. We might can do some interviews. Okay. We might can test it with some interviews and say, hey, his coworker is on my side. He said he's seen him cheating with this woman and he's willing to talk about it. I don't recommend you do it. Have us go do it, record it, transcribe it, and put it in a report. Okay. And it's just more professional, easier for everybody to read. And there's no bias involved there. Okay. So that's a possibility. Okay. Sometimes they leave behind a device and we can do digital forensics. We had a guy, he wanted a divorce and he just up and moved out, but he left behind a bunch of hard drives, okay, in a safe. And his wife opened it up, saw the hard drives and said, hey, I want y'all to go through each one of these and see what's on there, okay? One hard drive was a backup of his computer, and it showed, we pulled a ton of emails where him and his girlfriend had been emailing back and forth. They made plans. He said he was on a business trip, but we went back and looked at the receipts based off his emails that we pulled from this hard drive that he had actually gone on a trip to the Bahamas with his girlfriend. It was not a work trip. So those kind of things. She went with him. And so that's digital forensics may be in play. That is if the device is left behind. And it's not a work computer. We don't get into people's work computers because we don't own it. But if it was bought when y'all were married, then we can definitely go through that device that was left behind. We've gone through phones before and recovered iMessages where people and their boyfriends and girlfriends were talking back and forth, and they tried to delete it, but we found it in the artifacts. So digital forensics may be at play. Depends on if you can get the device or not, right? So we've tested this. So we think the goal is proof husband is cheating and he's an alcoholic. Step 2, the assumptions. He has a girlfriend. He's excessively spending. He's excessively drinking. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we went out and did surveillance, but he was never with a girl. All right, we never saw him with a woman. All right, now he does go out and drinks every night, and that's a fact. We found it through surveillance, right? Also, while we were out doing surveillance, we saw him talking to a guy. And I went up to the guy and said, "Hey, man, what are you at a bar?" And I went up to him and said, "Hey, what's going on, man?" He goes, "Hey, do you want to put some money down?" I said, "Oh, you're a bookie." I said, "Yeah, you can bet on the games and I'll take your money." So this guy was gambling. So we got another fact. We actually had that happen where a wife said, "Hey, there's some withdrawals here. I don't know what they are." Okay. And we would, while doing surveillance on this guy in a bar, he kept hanging out with another guy. And I went up and talked to the guy and just started making conversation. Come to find out he was a bookie. So our guy was making bets through a bookie. Okay. And that's where he was drawing all this cash out and making bets on ball games. So that's another thing that came out through surveillance, right? See how the surveillance worked? All right. Now we did some interviews with some coworkers and they never said they saw him with another woman, and they don't like the guy. So they talked to us and didn't tell on us. That's a risk you take when you start doing interviews. And sometimes people will rat on you. But we said that, so the girlfriend scratched off again. But while he was at the bars, he would spend 7 hours. And we actually got a picture of one of his receipts one time. We actually do that where they leave the bar, leave the receipt up on the bar or the table. We'll snap a picture of it and see how much they spend. And then one night, this guy spent $450. Okay. So, yes, excessive spending, excessive drinking, and now he drinks and drives. All right, is that a big deal when it comes to the custody part of this whole thing? Most of these divorces and adultery cases we run into have a custody portion to it. So yes, that's a big deal. So then we report these facts. Okay, let me get a new page here. We got our facts. We're going to report them. Okay, and we write them into a report in our Crosstrack system. We use Crosstracks. Okay. And as the investigators and myself were out doing the work, we enter their case information, all the photos, everything we've collected into Crosstracks. And you, as the client, can go log in and look at what's happening. Okay. That's important to us because we may see something that's not that important. Hey, we saw him talking to a guy in his car, but you know that guy to be a drug dealer. Who knows? We may know him to be a drug dealer, but sometimes you know things about what we're seeing that we don't know what it is. And you can clarify some things for us by looking into Crosstracks and seeing the report. Okay. In our report, it's going to have a detailed timeline of events. Timeline of events on one page. And then if we did any backgrounds on people, our backgrounds on the subject will show what assets he has, what cars are in his name, what homes are in his name. It shows if he has any property purchases going on. So you're going to see background reports. All right. On the subject, and we're going to say others. If we see the subject in contact with somebody else, we're going to try to get some identifying information from a tag number or whatever and identify who that is and do a background on it. All right. We had one recently where a woman was cheating on her husband, and she was cheating on him with a guy who was he was a registered sex offender. Okay. I don't know if she knew that or not, but we pulled his background, and sure enough, there he was. Now they have children they're fighting for custody over. So that's going to have an impact when it comes time for custody. Okay. And then any other information. If we did interviews, it's going to have a transcript. It's going to have videos and photos. All right. So yeah, each entry is going to have a photo. Timeline of events is going to have a photo, 2 of them there with it. But then as you get into the system, you'll see there's a ton of videos, unedited photo, some raw video in there, and some edited where we size it down to just the important parts. So we do that. So that's good for lawyers because they can get to the point quickly and say what they need to start framing their arguments around. So yeah, that's the reporting facts. The step 4, we can't be creative writers and make up stuff for you. We can't do it. And but we report facts. We go through a systematic process to get to those facts, and we can show you that system. And I just showed it to you in this series of videos, and hopefully you learned something. Hope to see you in the comments. Talk to you soon.